and
So,
related subject in education.
Great. So we met here. I'm English teacher too. Whoever here is the chief of language unit in our university, and I am one of English lecturers too here in university. Welcome to our university.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
So the audience is getting more here. So another 6 minutes, we're going to start the program. Safik, song please.
Okay.
You've been running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I'd call you up. You've been going around every party in LA. Cause you knew that I'd be at one. Oh, I know that dress is karma, perfume regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Oh, and now I'm all up on you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. You've been running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. Cause you knew that I'd call you up. Baby, now that we're right here standing face to face. You already know that you won. Whoa, I know that dress is karma. You regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. Now I'm all up on you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Baby, you just hate the thought of me with someone.
Hello?
Yeah, you just want attention.
Nanti telok Nci.
You're just making sure I'm getting over you. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? I know that dress is karma, perfume regret. You got me thinking about when you were mine. And now I'm all up on you. What you expect? But you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention. You don't want my heart. Maybe you just hate the thought of me with someone new. Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you. Over you. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing? Yeah, you just want attention. I knew from the start. You're just making sure I'm never getting over you.
Halo, Pak Gofur. Saya
Yeah, Mas.
The one of the presenter, Mr. Vivek from Sri Lanka, is here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
dear brother. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm okay. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Okay,
Oh,
thanks a
okay.
lot for your support in joining our materials for these
Yes, yes,
afternoons.
yes, yes, yes. So, this is
Rahayu, Ida Rahayu is also already here. Hello, Ida. What time is it there in Bali?
It's exactly 2 p.m. now.
2 p.m. So
Yes,
it's
2
later
p.m.
than here. Okay. Oh yeah. Previously, we should have the one Ibu Marlene from Philippines, but unfortunately, she is sick right now. So we have Mr. Vivek Kantarasa. Luckily, at the last minute, we have Mr. Vivek Kantarasa from Sri Lanka.
He's our hero now, man.
Yeah, really, really a hero. Thank you, Mr.
okay. It's my pleasure to join with you all, and really, this is a sudden appointment.
You're from Open University. You're from Open University, right?
Yes, yes, I'm a,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
So if it's possible to make like a collaboration for future, so I do hope that we can discuss further about that. But
yes, definitely we can.
Can we start it now, sir? To save the time.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can start.
Okay. So thank you. So we will have Mr. Vivek Takarasa first, and then after that we will have Ida from Bali, and later, while waiting for Ibu Mira, we will have her at the third round. Okay. So to save the time, can I share screen?
okay.
I will share screen. Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our lecture talk series 7. If you just joining us, this is our 7th series already, and I'm glad to have Mr. Vivek Tarasa, Ibu Ida, and later Ibu Mira to talk about the environmental issues that it is not a new issues, but really important to discuss. Okay, so our topic today is the TESL, environmental issues-based material developments. But before that, let me say thank you for all the presenters, to all the participants that joining us from Zooms and our YouTube channel. Good morning, good afternoon, and maybe good evening. We will have this webinar in about 2 hours. There are 3 presenters that will be presenting the material for 20 minutes, and they will have 5 minutes later to have a questions and answer with the participants, and the participants may write down their questions right after the presenters finish their material. The questions can be write down in the chat box or directly delivered through the Zooms by opening your video. So I'm your moderator. I'm Ibu Eva Nikmatul Rabbianty. Now I am as the English lecturer and the head of the language unit here at IAIN Madura. And together with Ibu Ida Rahayu and Ibu Mira, I was graduated from University of Malang, State University of Malang at 2002, taking the English department. And I finished my master educations at Islamic University of Malang at 2006. And now I'm also one of the editor board of OCARA, the Linguistic and Language Teaching Journal. I'm very much interested in teaching English to young learners because I believe starting a good education to young learners will help the world to be better. So this is what we are going to talk about today. Hopefully today we can talk about how to insert the environmental issues into the material that can be given not only, of course, to the young learners, but also to adult, to university or higher educations. Okay, to save the times, I will introduce you to the three presenters today. The first one is Mr. Vivekantarasa, Bachelor of Educations, and he got his PhD from the Open University Sri Lanka in Educational Management. He is also very active in speaking and presenting in a lot of the international seminars, and he is very active in writing articles and do many researches in educational management, online teaching and learning, and special needs educations and the children rights. Ibu Mira Shartika, Master of Art from Maulana Malik Ibrahim State Islamic University of Malang. She is now the assistant professor there, and she takes English Letter and Language at the State University of Malang, and teaching English as a second language at Flinders University, Australia, for her master degree. And like the other presenters, is also an active speaker in many international seminar and conference. She is also writes many articles, books, and also do many research, especially in English language teaching and motivational stories. Ida Rahayu, our next presenter, is now recently teaching in Green School Bali, and also she's the founder of the Seed to Table Bali. So she is also the right person to talk about the topics today, the environmental issues. So she's an educator, and she is the permaculture designer that integrated curriculums. She's implementing in school that integrates permaculture. Maybe we can later ask further what is permaculture and environmental studies and healthy lifestyle. Ida has been a teacher at the Green School Bali since 2012 and finished a one-year graduate certificate of permaculture design in 2017 at the Central Queensland University, Australia. Recently, Ida is expanding her knowledge by learning farming and agroforestry. And without further ado, let's go to our first presenter, Mr. R. Vivekantarasa. Mr. Vivek, please have your time.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, all of you. So I'm very privileged for accepting this invitation. So really, this is a sudden invitation for me. So though I had my busy schedule, I accepted this invitation because So I want to collaborate with people who are worldwide people. I want to share my experience, and what I learned, I want to share with other people. That is my main intention. That's why I accepted this invitation. I postponed my normal activities, so today I can continue it evenings. So thank you very much for inviting me, all the organizers and the people who have involved in this webinar, and all the participants and all the guests and speakers. So thank you very much for all of you. And really, it's my privilege and a golden of neighbor countries, Indonesia and Philippines, and the students and teachers and lecturers and the people who has joined at the moment. So thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce myself. So I don't need to introduce myself because already you have got some. I am Mr. R. Vivekanandrasa. So you all are getting confused in spelling my name. That is a problem for me. Not only you, everywhere when I do webinars, when I do presentation, the presenters and the people are getting struggle in pronouncing in my name. So I have to, what I can do, I can't change my name, no. So anyway, you can you can call me as Vivek, R Vivek. So that is my short name. Normally all participants and people who are with me in university calling me as Vivek. So you can also call me as Vivek. So I am an English teacher. My first appointment was an English teacher. I completed my Bachelor of Education, B.Ed, and after that I was trained as an English teacher with a higher diploma in English, HNDE. After that, I got English teaching appointment. Nearly 1 year, I worked as an English teacher. After that, I got an instructor in English in Vocational Training Authority in Sri Lanka. There also I was nearly 1 month as a lecturer in Faculty of Education, Open University of Sri Lanka in 2016. So since then I'm working as a lecturer. I'm involving all the activities and training the teachers in Sri Lanka, primary teachers, secondary teachers, and even some university, higher education institutes and educationals. I'm training all of them. So this is my background information. My specialization is now educational management. Anyway, I have involved in some certain studies in special needs education, children rights, online learning, and etc. I am still doing some researches, though my specialization is educational management. Then, so this is short, brief introduction about me. Topic, today's presentation topic, today's discussion topic. Can I share my slides? Okay.
Yes, surely. Okay.
You
Oh.
hello, Mr. Vivek. I assume that he has a little internet connections problem. Hello, Mr. Vivek.
Okay. Is it visible to you all?
I I don't
My
really
slide,
clear about the slides, but
madam?
on my screen, I I see my picture now. Where is the screen? I cannot see your screen, sir, unfortunately. Where is Mr. Vivek? He's out, yeah. I think he has some problems with his internet connections. Can we move to the next presenter?
Okay, let me inform him that he can
maybe he can take
presentation after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what happened with technology when there is a problems with the internet connections or any technical problems. Yeah, something like this commonly happen here. Ida, I'm so sorry, but I think you have to present first before Mr. Vivek. Is it okay, Ida?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so sorry, but
maybe could you please make sure that he's okay? I wonder. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Mr. Vivek? Mr. Vivek? Hello? Yeah. Hello, Mr. Vivek? Are you willing to have the presentations right now?
Yes, I got. Yes, I got. I got some internet issue.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can.
Yes, just
I
a little
can
suggestion.
hear you.
Maybe the video, turn the video off, Mr. Vivek.
Yeah, Mr. Vivek.
If you turn it off,
yes.
it could be better. The connection might be better.
Yeah, it helped. It might help.
Can you hear me?
It is in a slow motion, sir. Maybe you can move to certain place.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you now, but sometimes your voice
I can
is...
hear. Yes, can I hear my slides?
I cannot see your slide and
yes,
your voice...
I will share my slide. Okay.
Okay, good. We are waiting, sir. Okay, Ida, I think we can go to Mr. Vivek first before you. So sorry.
No worries.
Okay.
Now can you see my slide?
Not yet, sir. It is still starting.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you and I can see you, sir. We are waiting for your slide.
Yes. Now I can share my. Please check. Can you see my slides?
Everyone? Me? No. Not yet,
No.
sir. Not yet, sir.
Can
Network bandwidth is slow.
My slides okay, no?
Maybe while waiting for the slide to appear, you can start your presentation, sir. Okay.
Can you see my slide?
Yeah.
Can you see
Yeah, it is opening. It is opening.
Is it
Yes, sir. It is on the process. Yeah, we can see it now.
okay? I will continue my. Okay,
Whoever, you may continue to the next, and let me call Mr. Vivek.
Okay. Yeah, I think he has a low bandwidth. Ida, I think it is your your turn. Yeah. In certain places, internet connection is the problems to have a good online learning. It is also happened to our student here, Ida, in some part of Indonesia. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India is not far the conditions with Indonesia. So yeah. Okay, Ida, can't wait to listen to your presentations about the seats to tables and inserting the environmental issues in our materials in teaching. Okay, Ida.
Thank you. Really nice to meet you all here, and I hope I won't have problem with the internet. Hopefully everything is going well. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to share my passion, because basically whatever I'm sharing in a minute is my passion. So I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and also I do care about sustainability and environment. And this is what I would like to share with you. Like what the introduction from Eva, that I graduated from Universitas Negeri Malang, and I also taught actually English at English First for over 7 years. So and then I moved on into green school in 2012, and I started learning about permaculture, which you're gonna learn a little bit about it in a minute. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, one sec. Oops. Okay, so this is what I'm going to share. So yes, Seeds to Table is my baby. But what is it? So I'm gonna share nope, not this one. So what is Seeds to Table? Basically, I'm gonna share with you about what the background, like why I started Seeds to Table. Basically, I've been working at the green school, and everything is sustainable and green. However, when I go back to the local schools, this is what I see. Talking about food, this is what kind of food that you normally find in schools, or what you normally find in a lot of supermarkets, in like everywhere right now, not only in schools. Sadly, it's in school, just because, why I said sadly, because school is supposed to be a place for education, but students has to learn about their food from this kind of food. So, and this is not the only bad thing about it. whether this is unhealthy, but also the impact of it is also massive to the environment, because this is how much waste, this is in one school, how much waste they create in one day. And normally there is no waste management in Indonesia, especially the waste. Is someone talking? Someone else talking? Sorry. Okay. The waste management is pretty low, and what happened to them? Either they throw it away to the river, but also they burned it, which is really bad for the health and also for the environment. And this is what it will end up. You see a lot of this, especially after the big rain in Bali, and a lot of beaches in Bali. This is one of the beaches in Bali as well. And this, it will end up like this. And this is like, if you understand about global warming and what it is, you think it's only aircon or cars or refrigerator. It's not just it, because your waste will accumulate in one place, and then it will also contribute to global warming, because the ammonia that is created is actually one of the gas contributor for global warming. And yes, it will end up in the sea, and the fish that you eat might contain plastic as well. And some of you might know that Indonesia is the second biggest contributor of plastic waste in the world. The second. This is not an achievement, but it's something that we really need to reflect on. So what is the solution? There has been some solutions. In Bali itself, there has been a lot of beach cleanups, trash walks, and also, I don't know if it happened in any other cities in Indonesia, but in Bali, actually, plastic bag is banned. However, does it work? Not really, because I still see a lot of people using plastic bags, and the waste in the ocean or at the beaches and stuff, it doesn't matter how many times they clean it, there's still waste. There's still a lot of them. So the key to the solution, the key solution to this problem, I believe, is education. So that's why I created the Seeds to Table. What is it? So Seeds to Table designed based on a permaculture ethics and principles. I will share in a minute about what it is if you didn't know what it is. An educational, so Seeds to Table is an educational platform as one of the solutions to waste problems that we just talked about. Unsustainable food production, which is, all of you know that, like how we grow food with a lot of pesticides and chemical fertilizers, and also unhealthy diet. The pictures that I shared with you, what the food looks like in school or in most places. And then Seeds to Table is aimed to bring awareness of the impacts of the food one eats on their own health and well-being, as well as the environment and society around them. So this is what Seeds to Table is. So if you do know what permaculture is, it's actually not something new. So permaculture is, you can say, is it's an what do you call it? Wisdom, local wisdom, which our ancestors have been doing for a long time. So the practice, the sustainable practice that our ancestors, our grandma and grandpa have been doing for a long time. So learning from that, learning from nature, these two people in Australia, they started creating permaculture. Before it was permanent agriculture, but permaculture is not only about agriculture. It's not only about gardening. Permaculture can be about everything. You can design your education system using permaculture to have a sustainable education system. So there are three ethics in permaculture. So earth care, people care, and fair share. Whatever you do, it's good for the earth, it's good for yourself and the people around you, and also fair share. That means you consume what you needed. You don't consume more. You're not greedy. So you think about other organisms that live on this planet, and then you care about your future generations, what you would need, what they would, so that they can also sustain the earth, so that they can also enjoy what the earth provide for them. So that is permaculture ethics and principles. There's a lot of what do you call it? Like if you go to Google, there's a lot of definitions, or there's a lot of information about it. So you can go check it out. And there are also a lot of organizations in Indonesia actually doing permaculture courses. So there are 4 elements in Sister Table, which is waste management, growing, edible garden. I point out here edible, because a lot of people, when they say gardening, is just growing things, just growing plants or ornamental plants. But here I focus on edible, so something that we can also eat. Another element is food education and cooking classes, as well as composting. So I'm going to go quickly through each element. So waste management. So I started Sister Table at a green school, and then when I did my permaculture design course with the Central Queensland University, as my final project, I decided to bring the Sister Table to the local schools, because I believe that the local schools, like this kind of stuff, this kind of like sustainability topics is not really something that is taught in local schools. So that's why I'm really passionate as an educator to educate kids about sustainability. So I bring the programs to local schools. I've been working with some local schools. I do trainings for the local for teachers from the local school, so that they can implement the Sister Table in their school. So this is one of the schools where I did the waste management class. It's actually two different schools, this one. And then bring them awareness. I got some funding, and then we give them the water filter and also water bottles, because a lot of waste also comes from water bottles. Okay, and then I also give them a waste challenge, so minimizing or non-organic waste. And this could be a challenge for all of you here as well. How can you minimize your waste? Just collect all of your waste and see how much it is. And I challenge you to go zero waste or minimize your waste. So this is something that you can start from now too. And then growing an edible garden. So this is also in the different schools. We started in edible gardens. Most schools, they don't have edible gardens. So that's why it's good skills. It's basically life skills, especially in this pandemic time like this. This is really important for everyone to know how to grow their own food. When you lost your jobs, at least you still can survive by growing your own food. And then food educations and cooking classes. Sometimes when there are like cooking classes in schools, but we got to really think about what are we actually teaching. So before I started Sister Table actually at the green school, I was also teaching cooking classes, but I just get the kids to just cook. And then I was thinking, like, they're not learning anything. They got to learn about cooking healthy food, and it's not just healthy, it's got to be also good for the environment. So it's got to be healthy and sustainable food. So when I encourage the teachers to in these local schools for the cooking classes, please think about what ingredients they use, make sure that it's real food. So healthy food, there's so many different diets and stuff. I just don't believe in any of that. I believe in real food is the best diet. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's real, it's not full of pesticides and chemicals. That is healthy diet. So this is really important to bring into the cooking classes. And this is a proud moment when the students in one of the schools actually harvesting. They had so much fun. So they planted this cassava and then they harvested themselves. And then they cooked it. And they enjoy cooking, and they enjoy eating the food together as a community. This is before the pandemic, yeah? So there's no social distancing, if you wonder. Oh, this is one of the cooking schools I had at the Green School. And then composting is also a really good practice that everyone also needs to do. Because when we talk about waste, when we talk about non-organic waste, we need to minimize it. We need to manage it. How either you want to recycle it or you want to reuse it. But for non-organic waste, this is actually not a waste, because you can actually bring it back to the soil, because there's still a lot of nutrients in the waste. Either it's in the food, like after your cooking scrap, your kitchen scraps, you can actually bring it back to the earth as the food, more food for your plants. And then, so that's why I put this as one of the elements in sister table. And usually is worm composting, because kids also can learn about worm. They're really cute. And then this is actually one of the teacher trainings. And then on the left or right, so where the banana plants is, that's a way of composting. We call it banana circle. When you put everything in the soil, you do not need to process it. You just put all organic, only organic waste in there. And then it will slowly decompose. So that was pretty much about seeds to table, but how can you integrate seeds to table elements in your lessons? At the Green School, I don't really teach. I did teach languages. I taught Bahasa Indonesia, and but now I don't really teach Indonesian. I teach more about permaculture, and we call it green studies, and also the healthy cooking classes. But when I taught Indonesian, this is also how I can implement, or how I can integrate all of the elements into my lessons. So I was teaching Indonesian for non-Indonesian speakers, non-Indonesian native speakers. This is one of the examples. So they learned about mulch. What is mulch in Indonesian? So basically, I was teaching them some vocabulary in the classrooms, and then when they go out, I asked them to only speak Indonesian. It's a bit challenging if they're in a very beginner levels, but that's why me and my colleagues, also in Indonesian teachers, they can ask us. So we encourage them to, as much as possible, to speak Indonesian, because this is the thing about teaching languages. Translating is not the best techniques to teach languages. So it needs to be experienced. It needs to be used. The language is a habit, so it needs to be used. So by speaking the language while they're gardening, they're learning about nature as well as learning how to use the language. This is another, board that I took a picture where I taught them some, some vocabulary. So they actually, for this one, I asked them to reflect every day. So they actually started planting from seeds. And then I asked them to look at the seeds, to look at the seedlings, how is it growing? So this is one thing that the kids can also do. They can reflect on the plants that they're growing, and then they can write the reflections in the language that you're teaching. So I asked them to write the reflection in Indonesian, even though very basic, like maybe 1 or 2 sentences, it's okay. Depends on the level. So if it is already high level, then if their Indonesian is already good, like intermediate levels, then they can write a paragraph about their plans. They can do this every day as well if you have the classes every day. So you can use the following topics with activities in your lessons or provide extracurricular activities. So another thing, like in local schools, I know like some local schools, they do not have enough time for this because of the curriculums that they need to finish is a lot. So they normally cannot spend any more time on doing or teaching stuff like this. So I always recommend the teachers to actually implement the Switch Table program for an extracurricular activities. And it usually works really well. So if you want to integrate Switch Table or sustainability, I would call this one actually food education into your lessons. So you can start with this. So learn more about your waste. What are they? Make a list of vocabulary. You can get your students to make a list of vocabulary of type of waste, because when there's actually a lot to learn about waste. Different types of plastics, different types of paper. What waste can be recycled? What waste cannot be recycled? There's a lot of them. That could be not only learning about the knowledge, and they can also learn about the vocabulary of it as well. And then how much of each type of waste do they create daily? So they can reflect on themselves, like how much waste. They can also learn about math, like how many kilograms every day, and this is counting and everything. So there's a lot of things that you can integrate, a lot of lessons or school subjects that you can actually that you can integrate into table 2. So there are activities for this. So they can do observations about like the type of waste that is around them. They can do some research and self-reflections that I mentioned earlier as well. And where does your waste go? This actually one of the question, like a question actually, I can say a question that makes me start, that made me start thinking about all of the sustainability thing. So where do my waste go? And I started questioning that. It's like, okay, so my waste, someone pick up my waste, the truck will bring it, will carry it somewhere, but where does it actually go? And if you didn't know, it would actually end up in a pile in the landfill, the place, the picture I showed you earlier. So to think about or ask yourself, where does your waste actually go? So there are a lot of activities on this as well, like self-reflection. Always, we do a lot of self-reflections at grade school because it is really important for the students, how they can, you know, like, because we really student-centered, like how we really think about what does the student need, what does the, like, what is the importance for the students. So that's why self-reflection is really, really important, which I never experienced when I was in schools or even in university. So always going back, connect to yourself is really important. And you can do a lot of observation activities, research, interview. They can also ask, using the language that they're learning, they can ask around, ask their neighbors, ask their family, their friends, where does the waste go? And they can make data collection. So there's a lot of activities that you can do. And learn about what you eat. This is really important because of the diet. There's a lot of diseases that actually come from food. I don't know if many of you, I don't know if you have heard about food is medicine, and I really believe in that. Food is a really, really medicine. So for years now, I haven't taken any medicines. Knock on wood, I don't want to take any more any medicines, but I believe in by eating healthy, that is the cure for any diseases. And especially in this time, in this kind of time, the pandemic time or this coronavirus time, really important to eat healthy. This is what makes me sad that the government do not really say that, like, eat healthily. It's not only exercising and washing your hands, but be healthy. That is the best way for your immune system. Eat healthy and have a healthy lifestyle. So when you learn about food or something that you eat, you got to think about what a healthy meal means to you. I already explained earlier, real food. And why is it important? We can also get the students to talk about this. What is your eating habit like? Self-reflection again. And then what's your diet carbon footprint? So the impact of the food to the environment, what is it? Using a lot of chemicals, and if the food are imported from another countries, that is, or from another island even, that is also contributing to carbon footprint. So again, these are some activities, discussion, interview, presentation the students can also present. Also making videos, actually for the next topic will be good, like when they grow their own food, they cook their own meals, I suggest them to actually like create a video, use the language that that you are learning. I did this a lot also when I was teaching Indonesian. I asked the students to actually do a cooking show. So they take a video, use the language, speak Indonesian, you know, like in the cooking show they're using Indonesian, and they take a video so they can share that video. And especially if you also add sustainability in there, not just cooking, but also they can talk about healthy cooking and sustainable. Okay, I think that's all. I hope I still, you know, like I didn't run out of time. And let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Ida. That's very insightful presentations. Yeah, thanks that I gave a point from your presentations. Actually, what you have presented, we as a Muslims, we as Muslims already learn about it, that we need to be what is it, more wise in the food that we consume. We have to stop before we are full. We cannot be a greedy persons, and we also have to be wise with the waste that we produce. And I'm very much interested in the way you conduct the lessons. So you are talking about, seems simple, but it gives a great impact. So in fact that nowadays people seems do not care to where their food come from and where their waste goes. Maybe it is affected because they do not been told about it since they are in early age. So what you have done to your students is a good ways. They are not only learning the language, but they also learn the things that they need, not only for us, but also for the environment. So I think we can also do that with our students later. This is some of the participants are the teacher to be, and they sometimes asking me a lot about how to teach English. What are the activities that we can give? So what you have presented just now maybe can give them ideas. Okay, thank you very much, Ida. So let's go to the questions and answer. Any one of you want to ask questions directly to Ibu Ida? You can raise your hands. I will give you time to ask the questions directly to her.
Yeah, while waiting for the question.
Yeah.
I can also just responding to what you were saying about how people's habit on food and the environment now, because they are not taught about it in school, because schools now pretty much textbooks. A lot of it are like using textbooks. We really need to go back to the way we educate our students, teaching them skills, life skills, get them to experience, because students learned a lot more for experiencing. As students, it's even me myself, like if I have to read books, it's hard for me to understand it, but I have to do that. I teach more about gardening and stuff because I do it myself. So it is really important to how to bring more activities, more real life activities, to your students, how they can experience it instead of just listening, they actually doing it. So learning by doing is the best way.
Yeah. So the thing like making compost, it is actually, if I say easy, maybe this is not easy, but when we just read how to make a compost, seems it is complicated. But when you ask them to do that, because this is a process of the learning, then it becomes their habit. So whenever they have a food scrap at home, so they can like automatically separate it, which compost and which food scrap that should go to the compost, or which food scrap that I can give to what is it, our pet, for example, because not all the food scrap we have, we can put it in our compost, because as I know, it can disturb the process of making the compost itself, right?
Yeah, you can give it to your chickens, and then later on you can harvest the eggs. So
the eggs.
Chicken is part of the ecosystem, so there's a lot of ways. So it's not waste, it's not food waste, but it's if you actually, so there is nothing called waste unless you don't manage it. So all the food scraps, all the grass clippings or whatever, it's not a waste. It's something that we can use again, something that can bring back to be brought back to the soil. So it is really important, and it's a lifetime skills, especially cooking. You always learn about what to cook, how to cook, etc. But you cannot just like learn it for like, okay, for 2 years I'm just going to learn about how to be a good cook, how to be a sustainable cook. No, it takes lifetime. Even like the master chef, they're going to keep learning. So really bringing what do you call it, getting the students to understand that learning is a process. It's just one time. You have to keep learning in every time. It's not only in the classroom. So anytime, every second of your life is a learning. So
yes, of course, I do agree with that. Yeah. Even here in Pamekasan, we also have several schools that applicate we call it here as Sekolah Alam. Sekolah Alam. We have one special school that apply the way of your teaching. So they plan their own food, and then they cook it, and then they eat it, and what is it? They sometimes sell the food they plan to the other students, to the parents, something like that. Which is good. Let's go back to the local wisdom. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy to hear that. This is my idea. I would like to share to as many people as possible, and for now I'm limited to only Bali. But because at the moment I'm actually creating an online food forest course for educators all over Indonesia. There are 24 participants at the moment, and it's still happening. So how they can create a food forest. If you know what a food forest is basically you grow your own food, like mimicking the forest. So we creating an online course, and I think also one participant is from Pamekasan.
Really?
Yeah, I think it might be the person, but I'm not quite sure. But I think there is one from Pamekasan, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so yeah,
I'll be the one next. I'll be the one next. If it is
Great,
online.
Yeah, if we maybe next year if we do it again, this is the first time. So we teach them, so they're learning about how to start a food forest, how to grow food forest. At the same time, how to implement that also in education, how to teach the kids to grow food forest actually. So that's what I've been doing now. And but later on, I would like to reach out, like to bring in seeds to table to more educators all over the country. So
if you conduct, I mean, if you conduct it online, I think you can reach wider area, Ida.
Yes, thank you. I'll start working on it because now the time is not possible for me.
Okay.
I gotta do something.
Yeah, like that is a great issues to have right now, the environmental based issues, because the one that I've told you, the school that I've told you, Sekolah Alam, it is very expensive. Not many people can afford the school. So I believe by starting it from ourselves, from the teacher, implementing it to the materials that we give to them, even though we are an English lecturer or an English teacher, but taking the environmental based issues is very important to start saving the planet.
It's really important to start from yourself. This is what I always, so I train the teachers to teach this to their students, but I encourage them to start from themselves. Yes, because you cannot teach your students if you don't do it yourself. You preach if you don't do it. So it is really important to start from yourself. Start it first. Start what you can, slow but sure, and then that way you can start teaching your students later, because you got to believe it in yourself before you actually share it with other people. It's a really important point.
Yeah. There is a question, Ida, in the chat box. I wonder how the green school Bali looks like. I can't imagine how fresh the environment is. Do you have a picture of the green school Bali?
You can just go to greenschool.org.
I see. Okay, you can go.
There's a lot of videos. If you just like Google Green School Bali, you'll see a lot of pictures, videos, and everything there. So, and when the pandemic's over, come have a visit. Something.
Okay. So hopefully by doing that, by every teacher doing giving materials that is more environment friendly. So later on, we are not the second waste producer anymore. Yes. Maybe Indonesia in the next year, maybe it is possible, or the next 5 years can be the country that is the cleanest, not the second best producer of waste.
And I would like to share this with as many people as possible. I know I still need to work on it, my Facebook page and also the website. Please go on it. Once I have time, I need to update that. But so when you're saying the school is really expensive, it's the same thing as green school. Green school is also too expensive for the local people. That's why I bring the sustainability into the local schools. So I would like to encourage all of the teachers, a lot of teachers everywhere in the world, to like, hey, let's start this. We do not need to depend on the expensive schools. Let's start this from ourselves, and then let's bring this. We don't need to change the whole curriculum. You can just add whatever you're teaching. It doesn't matter what it is, language, math, science. You can just bring in sustainability into that. So go visit my Facebook page, Green School. Seeds to Table in Bali Schools on Facebook, and seedstotable.org also for my website. But I still need to do a lot of work on it. So you know.
Yeah. Okay. I ever read a statement. The world do not need a little sustainable persons do sustainable life perfectly, but we need millions of people doing a sustainable life imperfectly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. One last thing, if that I would like to share as well, like a lot of people now hear about let's save the world. We need to take care of our earth. No, we don't. We do not need to take care of our earth, because earth has been here for million years, way before us human beings, before us Homo sapiens. So what we need to care is us human race, because if we don't go with nature, if we don't work with earth, we don't work with Mother Earth, we, our human race, is the one who cannot survive, because the way we live at the moment is really bad. It will kill us. So we might just be gone from Earth. So that's why this is one important thing, that we need to change the mindset, that we do not need to take care of the environment. We do not need to take care of the earth, but we need to save our human race. Because if you want to survive, then we got to do it right. I think that's my last message.
Okay, thank you, Ida. We also have Ibu Mira here already. So you will have your, Ibu Mira, you will have your turn right after Mr. Vivek. After this, is it okay?
Sure, that's okay, Ibu Eva.
Okay, good. Thank you, Ibu.
Eva, sorry, I need to go because I've got another meeting. But I'm just gonna say thank you so much for the opportunity, and nice to meet you all. And I hope this is useful. And
okay, thank you very much, Ida. And Ida, could you please send me the PPT to my WhatsApp number, your PPT.
Yes.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye, Ida. Okay. Now we go to Mr. Vivek. I hope that the internet connection is already solved, and I can't wait to hear your presentation, Mr. Vivek. Okay, without further ado, let's go to Mr. Vivek.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the patience.
You're welcome.
I got some, yes, I got some internet disconnection. That's why then immediately I solved that, and now I am back. So let me to share my screen. So can you see my presentation?
Yes, brother. But I think low bandwidth. Okay.
Can you?
Now low bandwidth.
Can you all see my presentation?
No, it
is still on the processor. Mr. Vivek, maybe you can you can close the video to have the internet connections work better. But we can see the slide already.
Yes, I can continue.
He is out. Mr. Vivek, Hello, sir. Mr. Rafi, can you contact him? Can we move to Ibu Mira maybe?
Sure, Bu Eva.
Okay, I think Mr. Vivek has internet connection problem, Mira. So I think we can go to you while waiting for him to solve his problem. Ibu Mira,
Okay.
please have your time.
Thank you very much. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity given to me by IAIN Madura and also UPT Pusat Bahasa. Today, I would like to share a little bit about what I usually do with my students in our department. Can I share my screen, whoever?
Yes, of course, Mira.
Okay. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Great. Okay. So, sorry about this. Let me talk a little bit about me. This is a brief introduction of myself. So in our department, we have two elective courses for TESL. They are approaches and methods in ELT and media and evaluation and ELT. So the courses are elective and students only have to take 6 credits for this semester. And the courses are aiming at preparing them to be teachers in the future, especially in secondary schools. Actually, it's not really comparable if we want to compare it with other students who are majoring in English education, but this is only to prepare the students, just in case in the future they are interested more in teaching, so they have a little bit of background of teaching in the university in our department, and if they want to continue their passion in teaching, maybe they can go on with the master education. So in the course, especially in materials, media, and evaluation, there is material about designing materials for ELT classes. And this is where I usually introduce environmental and intercultural education. Actually, I am not an expert in this area, but it's just based on my personal concern that I want to do something to contribute to the environmental education, although maybe it's really small, but I want to start with a small thing, and I want my students to have and share the same beliefs as myself, and maybe they can go on by spreading the goodness when they are teaching in secondary schools in the future. Okay, I think that's a little bit about my class and I. And this is what I understand about environmental education. So maybe I can stop. Sorry about this. So, excuse me. hang on a second. So this is what I understand about environmental education. So this is just our little efforts as teachers to share a little bit of knowledge about natural environment functions and how human beings can manage and protect the environment. So I want to share these good things to my student. And because recently I am really concerned about some of the issues with our environment, for example, global warming, the pollution, the endangered species, how people throw waste in everywhere, not in the provided places, and something like that. So I want my students to have the same beliefs and maybe by doing little things with themselves, they can also share these good things with their future students in their classroom. And environmental education can be included in critical pedagogy according to Weaver 2006. So it's actually the way to transmit linguistic knowledge and cultural information, but not neglecting other issues such as environment. Let me go on. So why is it necessary to integrate environmental education into EFL classes? According to Babcock, successful language learning not only involves a combination of micro and macro skills, but also including appropriate expressions of communication. And in this matter, environmental issues are also really rich subject matters that can be taught in the classroom. So EFL or ESL students, they are not only limited with the linguistic knowledge, but they can also learn other important issues happening around them, and they also at the same time develop their critical thinking of what or what not should be done with our environment nowadays. And they can also both learners and teachers, they can both applying the linguistic awareness that is eco-friendly. And this is also in line with the goal of our national curriculum, that is to build students' positive characters and also to promote students' critical thinking. Just like what I said previously, that maybe as teachers we cannot do really big things, but maybe from small things we can be the agents of change. We can start the change from ourselves, and we share the positive values to our students, and then in the future they can also share the similar positive values to their future students. That is what I want to do and have with my students in the classroom. And if it's not possible to make the big changes, because maybe due to the materials or the textbooks used in, I'm talking about secondary education here, because usually textbooks are provided by the government. So maybe we cannot really do much with this to analyze and maybe to give some inputs for the better materials developed in the future. Or maybe we cannot really do much to suggest that environmental education to be given some more spaces in secondary education textbooks. But maybe by evaluating and adapting the materials, we can do several things or to include several things by giving supplementary materials to our students in the classroom. So let me give you one example of environmental issues-based materials. So I take this from English textbooks of the 10th grader. So I happen to know that one of the chapters is entitled Visiting Ecotourism Destination. This is very good. With this ready-to-use materials, maybe we can just put a little bit of things here and there, and maybe to add some other references from reliable references from the internet. This is a good chapter to be discussed with students in the classroom. So this is one of the reading texts taken from the textbook. It's about one of the national parks in Indonesia. So this is good because there are some questions following the text, asking about several things, for example, about ecotourism, the definition of ecotourism, and so on and so forth. And then after that, there is also points for analysis. That is to place students in the tourist shoes. So what will they do if they become the tourists in Tanjung Puting National Park? So with this is one example of a problem-based use in the classroom. So we give students some problem and then ask them to analyze the problem and maybe giving some suggestions of what to do if they are given a provided situation like this. If they become the tourists, what will they do with the plastic packages? What will they do if they see maybe people wasting, people throwing waste not in the waste bin, but in some places or something like that. So by this kind of material, we can ask students to think about what they can do if they are the tourists themselves, if they do, or if they see such situation. And we can also encourage them to think critically of what should not do if they become the tourists themselves. Okay, so according to Bevan, there are several things to consider if we want to apply task-based instruction in the classroom. So maybe we need to foster a class atmosphere that encourages trust and sharing. So we can ask our students to do collaborative work, for example, to do some discussion, or maybe to do a project together. And during the pre-task and task activities, maybe we can, as a teacher, we can check the learners whether they understand the materials or not. So in this case, teacher can have a role as a facilitator. So let the students solve the problem that we give themselves, and then we will be there to be with them, to assist them, just in case they have any problems with their language. And after having done the task, maybe we can give a direct feedback, or maybe we can suggest some vocabularies that is necessary or not necessary to use in the problems given. Okay, this is some other examples of authentic tasks. So I usually ask my students to think about not only the materials, but what are the tasks they can give to their students if they become the real teacher. So by giving the authentic task, maybe they can ask their students to write short letters containing some environmental issues. The letters should be addressed to the government, for example, maybe about the water pollution, or maybe the poor management of waste, or other environmental issues happen in their surroundings. But maybe in this case, teachers should consider the level of students they are teaching. If it is younger students, maybe junior high school students, you cannot really ask to you cannot really ask your students to write a very long letter. Maybe give the model of the letters, a very short one consisting of maybe 3 to 4 paragraphs, and then after that you can ask them to do the same thing to copy the pattern of the letter, but maybe the topic they can choose themselves, or maybe you can ask them to do collaborative work to plan on the letter, but then asking the students to develop the outline of the letter themselves. And then these are some possible challenges in adapting environmental-based materials. Sometimes teachers do not have enough confidence whether they have sufficient knowledge about environmental issues, or maybe about the topics selected and be adapted with environmental based issues. This also happens to myself, because sometimes sometimes we need to be carefully selecting which topic that should be adapted to some environmental issues. And some teachers are not really confident about their own knowledge about this kind of issues, and some also are not confident about getting reliable resources to teach this kind of value or issues to their students. And I think the way to overcome the challenges is to do several of these things. So actually, teachers do not have to integrate every single topic with environmental issues. That will be too much, because there are many things to be discussed in one semester, for example, and I'm afraid there won't be enough time to include all topics and integrate them with environmental issues. So teachers can choose several topics which can be easily related with environmental issues, and the chosen topics should be selected carefully, and the negotiation on which topic should be selected can also be discussed with other fellow teachers and also students. We want to encourage the students to have practice on their critical thinking. So why not asking our students to negotiate which, for example, which topic can be adapted with environmental issues. And we can also ask students to work on a content or project collaboratively, and they are also encouraged to make use of peer tutoring. So in this way, we want to minimize the problems with linguistic competence, because in one group, we can mix students, both low achievers and also high achievers. And they can do peer, the high achievers can do peer tutoring to the low achievers. And usually working in a small group will give students more courage, and so that they can speak out what they are in, what are there in their mind. Usually that's the case with collaborative work, because if we ask students to work in a big group, maybe maybe it will be challenging for some students who have problems with their linguistic competence to share their ideas because they are afraid of making mistakes. So I think with this kind of topic, that is not really familiar for some students, maybe we can try to minimize those problems. And with teachers, so that they can be more teachers can collaborate with other fellow teachers, so that they have someone to talk, or a small group to talk, so that they can choose which, for example, reliable sources to be taken from the internet, or maybe what kind of authentic materials that can be used to enrich their knowledge about environmental issues. I think that's all, Ibu Eva, what I can share from my classroom, what I usually do with my students. I hope this small thing can make a difference in the future, and I believe that every person should be an agent of change. That if we want to do some changes, whether it is related to our environment, or maybe our culture, or maybe other things, we can start with small things, but having a big impact in the future. I think that's all, Ibu Eva.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Mira.
Welcome.
Yeah, okay. Ibu Mira is teaching in a quite big university here in East Java, with Malang is like what is it, the role model for us, yeah, all around here in East Java. Yeah, Ibu Mira, I am inviting questions from the participants. You can raise your hands or write down the questions in the chat box. While waiting for the questions, I have a questions for Ibu Mira.
Yes, please.
Based on to your experience, what topics do you think is considered to be a sexy topics dealing with the environmental issues to give to our students, to a higher education students? Because we know that, yeah, Indonesian people, I'm also a little bit ignorance about environmental issues, like how the waste that we throw away can pollute the environment, and it actually harms our own health. Because when it goes to the sea, it is also goes to our body when we eat the fish, for example. So what do you think? What is the topic, or what is the ways to give the fastest effect to the students to then, oh yeah, I have to start it now. I have to start it small, but I have to start it now. For example, Mira. Okay.
I think all topics can be sexy topics, but maybe I can suggest that students choose something or several things that happen around them. Because what I shared previously in one of my slides, that not all teachers or maybe student teachers are familiar with this kind of issues. So I suggest to choose something that is happening almost every day around them. For example, maybe the overusing of plastics.
Plastic.
Yeah. I cannot do much about this, but usually the way I try to be a good model for my students is not to what is it? If we want to buy something, for example, food, or maybe when we go to the grocery store, I usually bring my own bag, reusable bag, because this way I believe that I can minimize the overusing of plastics. But I think it will not give a very big impact if I do it myself. That's why I usually share this with my students in the classroom. So maybe you cannot change something big right now, but maybe you can have a big impact in the future. Who knows? If one person wants to start this, for example, not using too many plastics for their everyday life, how about if one classroom consisting of, for example, 30 students do the same thing, and what if they share this good thing to their family members at home, for example? So I think we can spread the goodness from the classroom.
Yeah. Okay. So the snowballing effect. So we hope that the snowballing effect is getting bigger, getting bigger. So as the people said that we can change the world.
Yes.
Starting from our classroom. Yeah,
we can.
They are teacher to be. Our student is a teacher to be. So I believe when we share the good thing, they will share the good things to their students, and then their students will share, and then the snowballing effect. So hopefully, the good things we share, especially dealing with the environmental issues that we insert into our materials in teaching, can give a great impact to the future. Yeah, to the future.
Yes. There is actually one more thing, Bu Eva, but it's maybe something that is cultural. I am concerned with the way our society difficult to stand in line when they want to buy something, or maybe they are in the middle of doing something that will ask them to stand in line. So this is also something difficult to do if we don't try to get used ourselves to do it. I sometimes share this kind of thing to my students. I am really proud to be an Indonesian, but I am not proud with the way our society behave in some cases. For example, not being able to stand in line. That's what I usually share with my students.
Yeah. Okay, that's the good of being a teacher. Yeah, of being a teacher, we always can what is it? Share the good thing, even though it seems small, but I believe it will give a bigger impact in the future.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Mira.
Thank you, Bu Eva.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, we can have another collaborations in other maybe. Thank you very much. Yeah. We can continue our communications through WhatsApp. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now we go to Mr. Vivek. Mr. Vivek, it is your time? So hopefully you can already solve the internet problems. I'm glad to have your presentation, sir.
Yes, I'm extremely sorry because I was the first participant and the first speaker, but finally I have ended up with the final speaker.
It's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
It's okay. But I had two interesting presentations with the previous two participants. Madam, I have two requests. I will switch off my video. Okay, then can you make me as a co-host?
Yes.
Please make me as a co-host. Okay.
Yes, brother. Done.
Okay,
Okay,
right
clear.
now, okay, I will switch off my video. Right. Now I share my screen.
This low.
Is it visible?
Loading.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, clear
Is it
now.
okay
Okay,
now?
great.
Yes,
Great.
I can see it clearly. Kayak lagu ya.
Can I continue? Right, okay. Okay. Thank you. Within a short limited time, I have to continue. Okay, I just want to start my presentation with a quotation. To have another language is to possess. He says having another language is equal to possessing a second soul. So today, what I am going to discuss with you all about English language. In English language, there are two main concepts. So normally the countries, the native English speaking countries, they are using English as their mother tongue. You know, Europe countries and Australian countries, even some Asian and African countries, they are using English as their mother tongue. Even though we are Asians and some Africans and some even Europe countries, they are using English as a second language that sometimes may be a foreign language. So there are two main concepts, the second language and foreign language. So today my outlines of my presentation, first of all, we have to understand what is TESL, what is teaching English as second language. The second thing, the teaching English as a foreign language, the second outline. The third one is methodology and approaches in TESL and TEFL. And the fourth one is TESL and TEFL in technology integrated teaching and learning. So the next one is TESL and TEFL blended learning mode, and TESL and TEFL in flipped classroom, and TESL and TEFL in Sri Lankan context. Okay, if I move to my next slide. Hello, can you hear?
Okay, brother, we are waiting.
Right. Okay.
Okay, go.
Still, I am facing some internet issues. Anyway, I will share my slides with all participants. And sorry for the inconvenience that I am facing from here, Sri Lanka. Right. Anyway, the TEFL means refer to teaching the English language to students with different first language. So we have to understand that teaching English foreign language means teaching English the students or the people who have their native language. So typically used to imply that the English language learner may have already learned more than one language prior to English learning English. So you see some Asian countries and African countries and Europe countries, they are using English as a foreign language. For example, in your country, in Indonesia, English is considered and taught and learned as foreign language. language, because you have two or more your native languages. With your native languages, you consider English as a foreign language, right? This is, but in my country, in Sri Lanka, not like foreign language. English is considered as a second language. I will tell what is the reason for that, why we are considering English as a second language. Okay, if I move to my next slide. Right. What does teaching English as a second language mean? Same thing. It is called TESL, teaching English as a second language. TESL means it can be English as a second, ESL. Okay, a term typically used in English speaking countries and more often referring to the learning than the teaching. So when we go to the second language, the countries who has taken the countries who has taken the English as a second language, they consider English as a second language because they are more interested in learning the language with the purpose of speaking rather than teaching, giving important to teaching. But no no but sorry. But now what is happening in the countries normally taking English as a second language, they are giving prominence in teaching also, because the importance of English language. Okay, students who are learning English as a second language are known as ESL or EFL students. So if they learn English as a second language, they are known as ESL learners. If they learn English as a foreign language, they are called as foreign learners, EFL learners. Okay, students who are learning English as a second language are known as ESL. The same thing I'm repeating. So if I move to my next slide, so here very important. If we go to teaching, if we consider about teaching, so there are two main things play a big role. The first one, methodology, the second one, approach. So we can connect with, as you said, with the environmental issues in teaching. So we can directly come to these two main features of teaching, methodology and approaches. Okay, so what is methodology in teaching? Okay, the term teaching method refers to the general principles, pedagogy, and management strategies used for classroom instruction. So, as we are English teachers, as we are English teaching academics or teaching people, so we have to think about the methodology. What kind of methodology we are using in teaching English as a second language and foreign language? What kind of principles, what kind of pedagogy, and what kind of management strategies we are using, right? So if we use the pedagogy and management strategies and principles successfully, so we can succeed in our teaching learning process. Okay, if I move to the second slide, the next slide, the what is approach? Am I audible? Hello, madam?
Yes, brother. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking about sometime if I get a disconnection, I'm only speaking, but you can't hear. That's why.
No. We are listening.
Okay. Then what is approach? So when we come to teaching English as a second language and foreign language, the approach also very important. So you see, an approach is a way of looking at teaching and learning, underlying any language teaching approach. In language teaching, approach is very important. So we have methodology. How we are going to use the methodology? How we are going to use? So that is approach, right? An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something which use the classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. So in methodology, approach is very important. So what I'm trying to tell, in teaching English as a second language and foreign language at school level, university level, college level, whatever, maybe anyway. So these two methods are very important. The first one is methodology, second one is approach. Okay, if I move to the next slide, teaching English as TESL and TEFL, how methodology plays a big role, how approach plays a big role. So we have to think about these two issues, the importance of methodology and approach in teaching English as a second language and foreign language. Okay, methodology for TESL and TEFL. So what methodology? So when you think about methodology in teaching English, we have to understand about teacher's role. We have to understand about classroom environment. That is environmental issues. What are the environmental issues are there? We have to understand about teaching techniques. So we have to understand about teaching aids and activities and assessment methods and feedback. So these all things are very important in methodology. So when a teacher teaches in a classroom, so she should be very clear about the methodology that she is practicing based on the teacher's role, based on the classroom environment, based on teaching techniques and teaching aids, activities, assessment methods, and feedback. Okay, then if we move to the that is approaches. I'm telling again I have again repeated as a methodology, that is approach. Approach for TESL and TEFL. So the same thing will repeat in approach also. Teacher's role, a classroom environment, and teaching techniques, and teaching aids, activities, assessment, method, and feedback. So in these all things also, how we can use the approaches. Okay. Then if I move to the next slide is with TESL and TEFL in technology integrated teaching learning. So now you know we are in the pandemic. We all are facing lot of problems due to the coronavirus, the COVID-19. Everything is collapsed. No education, no work, no. What I can tell, we are bounded. We are bounded in a circle. We are home arrest. No. So in this pandemic situation, how we can implement our teaching learning process, how we can help the students, that is very important. So students can't be without learning. Student can't be without getting information. So that is very important. So that's why we all are using and we all are integrated with technology-based education. So when it comes to English teaching as a second language or foreign language, so how we can use that technology integrated system in language teaching? So definitely that is online learning. So via online learning, that we are using Zoom now. Also, I am speaking from Sri Lanka. So via online, that is technology. So Sri Lanka to Malaysia, huge distance. But I am discussing with you all, right? I am communicating with you all because of internet, because of technology, right? In technology, when we use technology in teaching process, so that is definitely come as a online learning. There are 3 types of online learning. So you can see supplement online and blended online and fully online. These 3 are very important. Now all the countries are giving importance to blended learning, that is blended online learning, right? So when it comes to English as a second language or foreign language, how we can use the blended online learning. Okay, what is TESL and TEFL in blended learning method, right? What is what does it mean, blended learning? Blended learning means a style of education in which students learn via electronic and online media as well as traditional face-to-face teaching. So both are connected, traditional method and technology integrated method. That's why all the countries, all the people and all the teachers are giving more importance for blended learning method, no? Because we can't fully depend on technology. that is fully online because we need interaction. We need communication. We have to meet each other. That's why we are choosing, we all are choosing blended learning. Right. When it comes to blended learning, what is the methodology in TESL and TEFL? What is the approach in TESL and TEFL when we use blended learning in teaching English as a second language and first language? So here I have to tell about one thing, the flipped classroom in TESL and TEFL. That is one L missing. You can correct it. TESL and TEFL, that when it comes as a blended learning, the flipped classroom plays a major role. The flipped classroom is one of many technology enhanced teaching strategies. In this approach, students are responsible for initial learning at home, often via instructional video, and class time is used for problem solving and activities to deepen understanding. So flipped classroom is very important aspect in teaching English second language and foreign language when it comes it comes in the blended learning mode. Okay, right. It is mixed up with two uh, ways of teaching. So students are able to learn being at home, and they come to school and they are practicing everything. And they are communicating with teachers and they are learning. Right, very important. I can frankly say I can assure that in teaching English second language and foreign language, flipped classroom is very important. So rather than any other subject in teaching learning process. So as we learn and use the flipped classroom in language education is growing, little work has examined its use in teacher education, particularly for language teachers. So when the many researchers have been being doing by different types of scholars. So when they do the research, they give more prominence to teaching English as a second language and foreign language. How we can use the flipped classroom setup in teaching English and second language and foreign language. So that is very important. Here I have to I discuss with you. I have to just tell about that. Then TESL and TEFL in Sri Lankan context. So as you all wanted to know about Sri Lanka, that the country Sri Lanka is keeping English, it's maintaining English language. So how we are maintaining, how we are using that English language? Definitely, I can frankly say, Sri Lanka is teaching and learning English as a second language, right? So second language, it is here in second language, not like any other countries, because Sri Lanka was under colonialism, under colonialism more than 400 years. So the last colonial, they inverted Sri Lanka, and they were British people. They were British. So their native language was English. They spread English language everywhere. They taught English to all the teachers and all the people. After that, people were very interested in teaching and learning English. Now also in Sri Lanka, almost 90% of people can speak English. All the students in a school system, English is a primary language. English is a compulsory language. It is taught as a second language, right? So the Sri Lankan context as TESL and TEFL, not TEFL, as TESL. So teaching as a second language plays a plays a big role in all educational institutions and the universities and everywhere. So we speak two main native languages such as Sinhala and Tamil. In Sri Lanka, there are two main languages, Sinhala and Tamil. With that two languages, English is considered as a second language. So all university, colleges, technical colleges and schools teach English as a second language. Everywhere, even universities, colleges, everywhere we teach English as a second language. The role of of Open University is very important in the teaching English as a second language. Here I have to tell, I'm the person teaching all the teachers, training the teachers, and as I am from Faculty of Education, I know how English plays a major role in the education system, in the higher education system. I know about that. So we are teaching all the teachers to English. We are offering the programs in English media. We are giving English as a main subject. We are giving activities in English. So we are using the blended learning and teaching method. When we use the blended learning teaching method, we emphasize English as an important subject, and we emphasize to the students to learn English as a compulsory. And all teachers, not only English teachers, all primary teachers, secondary teachers, all the teachers are learning English as a second language. So the role of Open University of Sri Lanka is very important in teaching and training the teacher in learning English as a second language. Okay, if I move to my next slide about that Sri Lankan context regarding that TESL. In Sri Lanka, there are, 15 universities and National College of Education 19 and technical colleges 22 and vocational training center 216, advanced technological institutes 18. Like this, we have so many higher educational institutions. We have more higher educational institutions. So all institutions' main intention is to teach English as a second language. Even all the 15 universities are taking initiatives to teach English as a second language. All college of education, technical college, everywhere. Right. So if I move to my next slide, in Sri Lanka, nearly 10,000, nearly 10,000, more than 10,000 schools. In Sri Lanka, more than 10,000 schools. In all the schools, English is taught as second language, main subject. Students are learning for the purpose of speaking, writing, reading, and listening. These 3 or 4 skills are considered as a main skill in teaching English as a second language. So teachers are trained as TESL trained teachers. So teachers are they are trained by all the university, colleges, and technical colleges, TESL trained teachers. And foreign university and institution are also offering teacher development program for TESL teachers. And National Education Institute designed the curriculum for TESL. How we design the curriculum for TESL, teaching English as a second language? So National Education Institute, we have National Education Institute that is called shortly, that is called NIE. So the people who are working, they are expert in English. They are designing the curriculum system for the teaching English as a second language. And teachers are given scholarships for professional development in relation to TESL. So when teachers when they wish to learn more in teaching English as a second language, they can go for any foreign countries to learn about that more. Even Europe countries, Asian countries, everywhere they can go. They can go and learn. They can do their PhDs. They can study more and they can improve their knowledge, and they come back to Sri Lanka and teach all the students English as a second language. They improve the skill of English among all the students. Okay. Thank you very much. This is what I wanted to discuss with you all. Though I had some internet issues and connection, so I hope I shared something with all the participants, so they all have got some ideas about Sri Lankan context and the teaching English as a TESL and TEFL language. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vivek.
Yes.
So here in Indonesia, English is foreign language.
Yes.
You said that in Sri Lanka, English is the second language. Is it right?
Yes, second language.
Oh, I see. So what is the first language of Sri Lankan? Is it Sri
In
Lankan?
Sri Lanka, yes, yes, we have two main languages. We have two main languages. First one singular language, second one Tamil.
Tamil. Tamil
Yes, Tamil.
language.
Yes, I yes, I am from Tamil. Normally, you know, the people who are in India speaking Tamil language.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu?
Yes. Is it Nehi?
Yes.
Nehi? No. Nehi?
No,
No.
Nehi acha. No.
Acha acha.
Ah, right. Yes, like.
Yeah,
Yes.
like India.
Can you
Like
introduce
India.
yourself by using Tamil language, brother?
Okay, I can speak with you in Tamil because, for example, if I want to tell, I am very happy. So in Tamil, நான் சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கிறேன். Okay.
Santoso.
Oh, happy means சந்தோஷம், மகிழ்ச்சி.
Santoso Indonesian language we have Santosa.
Santosa,
Santosa means happy.
Yeah, Mr. Wafi in bahasa Indonesia affected a lot by Indians language, yeah, by Tamil language and Arabic.
I see.
That's why
Not
maybe
Santosa,
we have similar.
You have to. Yes. We have to pronounce it Santosam. So
Santosam.
there is another word for that. Santosam, Magalchi.
Santosam. Namaste.
Like
Namaste.
Namaste.
Yes.
Mr. Vivek, I'm curious about.
Tell me. Ask me. Any question?
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious about what is it? The environmental issues based teaching there in Sri Lanka, and I'm wondering whether environmental issue also become a big issue in Sri Lanka recently.
No, we don't have any environmental issues after this COVID pandemic. So all schools are closed and students are learning being at home. Now, before just last 1 week ago, we started all the schools, and still we are getting COVID patients. And even though we have some problems with COVID, so we have already started the schools because more than 1 year students are they do not get their education. They were at home. So we used different techniques to teach the students using technology. So anyway, we have to now all the schools in Sri Lanka, they have planned to do the teaching and teaching the students and learning everything doing via blended learning method. So today we started national exam also in Sri Lanka, ordinary national level exam. That is very compulsory.
Oh yeah, middle class.
Yes.
Do the higher educations already started their offline learning too in Sri Lanka?
Yes, we started last time. Yes, last time we had the higher education final final exam that is called.
Is it offline?
Yes,
or online?
Offline.
So you have a face-to-face. What is it? A face-to-face classroom?
Yes, we are having face-to-face classroom at the moment because in Sri Lanka we are facing a lot of issues with COVID. We are the effect that victims, that the people who they are also identifying as COVID patients. Even though there are COVID issues, we are running their life also as normal. So all schools started because we can't remind us 4 years. So everything is normal. Now that in my university, we have started teaching. So we are going to have the final exam face-to-face. But we are maintaining the health procedure. With the health instruction, with the ministry and the government health instruction, we are doing everything.
Okay.
We are working.
Yeah, here Open University here in Indonesia, we also have Universitas Terbuka. We call it Open University,
Yes.
and they usually have an offline learning and also online learning. They have blended learning.
Blended learning.
Blended learning. Is it the same in Sri Lanka? Open University also have the blended learning?
Yes, we have the blended learning system. We have students worldwide, even Maltese, Russia, and in my faculty we have two Maltese students, one Russian student, and even some other countries, some other faculties also have some other students and participants. They are learning via online using the blended method. So they, when they want to do something face to face, they come to Sri Lanka and they do it and they return back. So in assignment submission and other procedures, they can do via online. No issue.
Okay.
Ibu Eva?
Yep.
I think to our brother Mr. Vivek here, we can have further collaboration related to
definitely,
the improvement of our institution. Is it possible, brother?
Yes, definitely. I will support. I will work with you all. So I have to ask sorry for you for the internet connection. So
no problem. No problem.
I talked with the. Yes,
we so appreciate your great effort.
Yes, next time I will correct everything, because today little climate change in Sri Lanka, raining.
Oh,
so that's why that's why the internet is giving trouble. So yesterday I had a e-lectures in for the students in Nigeria. Yesterday I didn't have any problem with the internet. So today only I had this kind of issue. So I discussed with the telecommunication people. They asked me, sorry sir, we will correct it, because of the climate we are having this kind of issue.
Okay, yeah, what is it? Commonly happen also here. Sometimes our internet connections, due to the weather, is not too good, and sometimes it is okay. So, but that's technology, sir. Depends on the situations.
Yes, technology. So that's why we can depend. We can fully depend on technology.
We cannot to rely on rely on to technology. Yes. So traditional educations, it's
traditional education is still we have to follow. That is important.
Still have its time. Even though this is a modern era, but sometimes traditional educations still needed and cannot be replaced. Any questions? Maybe
the time is running out.
Yeah. Any questions from the other participant to Mr. Vivek? He's from Sri Lanka. Maybe
they can ask about my country, even what kind of approaches and methods that we are using in teaching English. They can ask. Even I can tell, as I was an English teacher, we are using different kinds of strategies and methods and approaches in teaching English. So every year, I think maybe four times or three times in a year, all teachers are trained. They are getting the training in teaching English as a second language. So, but in a nutshell, I can say my country is giving more prominence to English language, because we were under British colonialism more than, not British colonialism, that Western colonialism, more than 400 years. So in 400 in 400 years, nearly 150 years, we were under the colonialism of British.
That's why English is Sri Lanka's second language. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's right. That's the main reason.
I just remembered we have a friend that married with Sri Lankan man, Bobby, Mira. We have Bobby married to Sri Lankan man, and they are staying here in Malang.
Right.
Teaching English. Yeah. Iya, Mira ya baru inget nih.
Definitely. I will come. You should all come to Sri Lanka. I will also come to Indonesia.
Amin. Yeah. Hopefully, we love to. What is it? We love to come to many different countries. Yeah. I'm the one who never go abroad.
Yes.
For me.
Yes. No.
One day, I think. Amin.
Okay.
Okay, Mira, do you have something to ask to Mr. Vivek?
Yes, Mr. Vivek. It's very interesting that you say that in most English classrooms in Sri Lanka, you have various kinds of approaches and methods in the classroom. But are most classes in Sri Lanka familiar with intercultural language education?
Yes, we have two native languages. So if they want students, they can learn in their native language. If they want to learn in English, they can continue in English media also. So in 3 medias, we are offering the education here. In 3 medias, almost most of the students, they are learning in their native language. But although they learn in native language, English language is compulsory there. It is a compulsory language. They have to learn English as a compulsory. But there are many foreign universities, foreign schools. They are taking their activities in English. As English school, they are running their activities. Even I can tell there are Korean schools and Chinese schools. There are some international schools. So they are running their activities in English. But they are teaching Korean language and Chinese as a foreign language.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. We have the foreign language system, not English as a foreign language. Korean, Chinese, Japanese, French.
Indonesians, what about Indonesian?
Indonesian also.
No.
Maybe a prospective language to learn in the future.
So
I think we can start. We can start it with our brother Vivek.
Yes.
Bahasa Indonesia is what is it? One of the language that has a big numbers of speakers.
I love Indonesia very much. My favorite country.
Oh yeah. Okay. You want to have another wife from Indonesia?
Yes,
another wife? He doesn't marry yet.
Yeah, I'm not married. I'm not married.
He's not married yet, sir.
Really?
Yeah, bachelor. Bachelor of Art.
Yes, I am unmarried.
Okay. Can we have a picture?
Definitely. Okay. So
can we take a picture together?
Yes, we have. I have got your pictures.
Yeah.
And this is Spain. Cheese.
Siapa yang ambil? Safe.
Can I speak? Anyway, would you like to have your camera on, please?
Mr. Mulyadi, Mr. Andrian, could you make the camera on?
Ibu Eka, wow. Welcome back, Bapak Mulyadi. Okay, cheese. Good.
Udah?
Thank you very much, Bapak Muhammad Zuhri, for joining in our lecture talk.
Okay, so can we close the webinar?
Yes. Time is running over.
Okay, thank you very much for the very interesting discussions about the environmental issues-based material developments. environmental based issues, material developments must be done as soon as possible, because there are big environmental issues that happens around the world. So hopefully we can start from our classroom, and the snowballing effect can go bigger for a better planet to live in. Thank you very much, Ibu Mira, Ibu Ida, and Mr. Vivek for the very insightful presentations and discussions. Hopefully we can meet again in the next events in a different topics, and we hopefully we can have another collaborations. Thank you very much. God bless you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye bye, brother Vivek.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
I have sent you the certificate and also the award. And to Ibu Mira.